So how do you measure a life? Is it about how much you make, the titles you hold? Well, what if I told you one of the world's oldest organizations has a completely different take on it? Today, we're digging into the blueprint of a life, as seen through the eyes of Freemasonry.
All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to start with a different way of measuring time. Then, we'll get into why this is more than just a service club. We'll look at the markers they use for a long journey, how they honor high merit, and finally, what this all means for the blueprint of a life. Sound good? Let's jump in. Okay, first up, a different measure of time. We're talking about the Masonic Marathon. You know, we live in this world that's just obsessed with speed, right? It's all about quarterly reports, annual reviews, instant gratification. But is that really how we measure a life? I mean, is there something more? That's the question we're tackling. Because while most of the world is running a sprint, Freemasonry is all about running a marathon.
And here it is, laid out plain and simple. You've got the modern sprint on one side, all about short-term projects, immediate results. Think about it, a 5-year plan, a single term in office. Then you have the Masonic Marathon on the other, which is focused on building a lasting legacy over an entire lifetime. It's a totally different mindset.
So how do they frame this? Well, one of the first things members learn about is this symbolic tool called the 24-inch gauge. The idea is simple, but powerful. You divide your day into 3 equal parts: time for your work, time for rest, and time for service. It teaches you to see every single day as a chance to build something that lasts. It's about using time as your main tool, brick by brick, day by day.
All right, Section 2, more than a service club. So let's get into what really separates this from other groups you might be familiar with. It's all about a commitment to character.
And they're really clear about this. Check out this quote from a Grand Lodge of Alberta bulletin back in '76. It says, "Freemasonry is not a service club." And that's key. You know, service clubs are amazing, but they often focus on short-term projects, fundraising drives, things like that. For Masons, the primary goal is different. It's about the long, slow, steady work of building a person's character and ensuring the stability of the group as a whole.
Okay, so if it's not a service club, then what exactly is it? Well, they describe it as a beautiful system of morality. Think of it as a framework, a way of life. They use all these symbols and allegories, stories really, to teach core values like honesty, integrity, and just basic kindness. And the kicker is, this isn't a weekend workshop. It's designed to be practiced over an entire lifetime.
And that's why their view on time is so radical, really. Get this. The first 15 to 20 years are seen as just the beginning. They call it a period of active labor. This is when you're learning the ropes, taking on different roles in the lodge, and really proving your mettle. It's all about building that foundation of character before you even start talking about long-term recognition.
So, what does this look like in practice? How do they actually honor this kind of commitment? Let's get into the markers on a long journey, decades of dedication.
Okay, so their system of recognition is built around these huge milestones. And honestly, this is what's so wild about it. You've got the 25-year pin, the 50-year jewel, and then bars for 60 years and beyond. But think about that. The first award for just sticking around doesn't happen until you've been a member for a quarter of a century, a full 25 years.
And that 25-year pin, it's not just a participation trophy. It signifies something much deeper. We're talking 9,125 days of what they call good standing. That means you've met your obligations, you've conducted yourself ethically out in the world, and you've become someone the lodge can truly count on. You've become a pillar.
But then you hit 50 years, a half century, and that's a whole different ballgame. The recognition graduates from a pin to a formal jewel. This isn't just a local honor anymore. It's an official recognition from the entire jurisdiction. It's such a big deal that the Grand Master or his personal representative often presents it. We're talking about a serious level of respect.
And believe me, the journey doesn't stop at 50. Here's a cool piece of history from a '76 bulletin reporting on a member named W. Bro G.H. Taylor getting his 60-year bar, a bar that gets added to his 50-year jewel. It's concrete proof that this isn't just theoretical. There are records of guys being honored for 70, even 75 years of dedication. It's just incredible.
Now you might be thinking, okay, so it's all about the long haul? Not quite. While the marathon is key, they also make sure to honor high merit and recognize those immediate contributions. So let's look at that.
And this is what I think is so smart about their approach. They've got this balanced system.
It's like they're saying, yes, we deeply value the guy who shows up for 50 years. But they're also saying, and we also see and appreciate the person who does something amazing this year. It honors both endurance and impact.
And you can see here, there are a bunch of ways they do this. You've got things like the Masonic Medal of Merit, which is for service that's truly beyond the call of duty. There's honorary life membership for distinguished service, the Past Master's Jewel for someone who has led a lodge, and even a Mason of the Year award, which is all about recognizing exceptional work within a single year. So yeah, the immediate contributions definitely don't go unnoticed.
So let's bring this all together. What's the big picture here? We're talking about the blueprint of a life, a legacy of truth and honor. Because at the end of the day, these things, the pins, the jewels, the awards, there's so much more than just shiny objects. They're physical proof. They're markers on a map showing that someone lived their life according to a specific moral blueprint. For the younger guys coming up, they're like lighthouses, proving that these core values don't fade away. They stay relevant through every chapter of life. I mean, listen to this language from their own ritual. It talks about a time when, from your grasp shall fall the working tools of life. The hope is that the record of your life and actions be as white and spotless as the emblem. It's this powerful idea that your whole life is the project. You're not building with stone and mortar, you're building a temple of honor, justice, and truth. So here's the thing. It doesn't matter if you're a Mason or not. This whole idea, this focus on a long-term vision, on building character day by day, it really makes you think, doesn't it? In a world that's always telling us to sprint, what would it look like to commit to a marathon? And maybe the most important question of all is, what blueprint are you building with? It's a heavy question for sure, but one that might just change how you think about a life well lived.